Winning. I've outsmarted you on a number of levels. Beta. Well, actually, King's not. Beta.
That was a hot mess inside a dumpster fire, inside a train wreck.
Keep your mouth shut. I'm going to go in there and slap your face.
You know, we're going to rise like the Phoenix. And
Get in my limousine. Ride on 85. Get in my Learjet. Woo!
Good evening, Ashland Cup. This is the Nate Gate, and I'm joined, as always, by
the King himself. How you doing,
King
Nate?
Koopa.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, it's been a few weeks, but it's great to have you back on the pod.
I always forgot how to do it, man. This is great.
Dude, well, you've been jet setting and trend setting all across the world. How does it feel being back in the States, dude?
I will say this: the football not so good in Sweden. It's a whole different sport, man.
I'm sure. I'm pretty sure your internet connection would have been pretty bad out there too, setting lineups. That's for sure.
Dude, it was so bad. Literally, it was like 2 days of no internet, and I had to travel like half the country. So fun times, but we made it work.
Nice. Well, let's just jump right into this. We got some things to cover, and let's just go ahead and jump into it.
Dude, I'm ready to talk about this week. Has there ever been a more like disastrous, tumultuous, heartburn-inducing week one that you can remember?
I mean, it's been a roller coaster ride. I mean,
right.
Tops and turvy, man. Like what I thought was up's down, what's down is up. It's amazing.
I mean, like normally I feel like the preseason has a lot of injuries, and you're like, you kind of know going into week one, you're already limping, or, you know, if you're not in our league, you made some waiver wire moves. But it felt like a pretty tame off season, and then week one hits, and it's just like Grim Reaper coming in, taking out people right and left.
No, I can't argue with that. I mean, heck, any DAC owners out there, they are sweating bullets right now. And I'm put it this way, I'm glad the way things fell in our draft, taking Herbert, because I had Dak on my list of who to draft if I waited on a QB.
Dude, we haven't talked about this, but I pretty much copied your team in my other league. So I had Dak and CD, and you know, thankfully I also had Swift. But man, that was a hard game to watch. Did you watch the Cowboys game?
I watched a little bit of it until like I couldn't take anymore and turned it off. Yeah, like I don't know what's going to happen with CD Lamb this year. It's I had big high hopes for him. It just made too much sense. They were the number one offense last year, but then again, it's the Cowboys and they let you down.
So did you see CD's like Dak's passes to CD? Because like well before he got hurt, CD was not looking good.
No, he wasn't. I think I saw like on the stats he was targeted 11 times,
right?
But I don't know how much of that was just technically targeted or
Dude,
not.
He got hit on the hands at least 2 plays that I'm remembering where, I mean, literally like hit his hands and did not come down with them. I'm like, bro, like this is week one. You got to be catching them. I mean, it wasn't as bad as Christian. Did you see that Christian Watson drop from the Green Bay game?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It just went right through his hands. Like I was like, "What are you doing?"
Dude, there's the running back dugout. Like if you get a fumble, like for say, you know, out in Seattle. But dude, the Aaron Rodgers dugout, or the when you're grounded with Aaron Rodgers, you're not seeing that football again, man.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that was a pretty tough one to watch. But you know, going back to some of these other players that were out, that just for this week one. I mean, Keenan Allen, I mean, hamstring injury. He could be like gimpy all year long. I mean, hamstring injuries are just the worst for players.
Here's the thing I don't get about Keenan Allen. Like he was what, second round? If I'm efforting the draft board right now, but roughly second round, right?
Third, I believe.
Okay, well, good for us because his ADP was definitely in the first round. But like, why? Like, you know he's going to get hurt. Like, I know he's on a good offense, but like this happens every year.
That was, it was actually a discussion I had with Grizz. I mean, right before the draft or right after the draft. I mean, Keenan Allen, I mean, he's solid when he plays, but he's not like he's all right. He's older. At some point, he's going to drop off, and he's consistent, but he's definitely not much upside there. And then, like you say, I mean, a huge injury risk. I mean, look at, his first couple of years in the league and then on. I think last year might have been his only year he's made it injury free or close to it.
The other thing I don't get is like I haven't gone through the whole box score with the Chargers, but like you got like 30 almost 35 points off of Herbert. Who was he throwing to? Because it wasn't Mike Williams.
No, it wasn't, because I had Mike Williams also. What was his name? Is it something Carter? Deshaun Carter or something?
Yep.
He was a big recipient of Herbert. So, I mean, Herbert's going to light it up. I mean, I think he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now. He's going to light it up. And I actually hope for Mike Williams, since Keenan Allen's going to be out, he's going to have a big game this week.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer, but the fact that he wasn't getting lit up last game kind of threw me off.
Hey, that's one of the surprises, too. I mean, we were going to talk about some surprises for week 1. I mean, that's definitely one of them for me, that's for sure. Along with, like, probably some of these other injuries. I mean, what was it, Elijah Mitchell?
Ooh.
What was that?
Time out. I'm going to put Elijah Mitchell in the exact same category. We all knew that the running back for San Francisco was going to go down for multiple weeks, week 1. It happens like you can set your watch to it. The only thing that didn't happen week 1 that we all thought was going to happen was Sammy Watkins was going to have a big game and then fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, I stay away from 49er running backs. Even now, like they're like, who are they touting as the hot pickup this week?
Oh, Jeff Wilson Jr., man.
Yeah, I mean, the past 2 years he's been the hot pickup for the 49ers.
Yes.
Like, I'm staying away from all that. I'm saving my draft cap or my waiver wire capital and moving to someone else, because that's just fool's gold right there, I think.
Dude, the 49ers running back is a hell of a drug, man. I mean, if it hits, you get like, you win a week, it's great, and then you get the guy that everybody tells you to get, and he like doesn't start. They're like Jeff Wilson, healthy scratch, almost guaranteed.
Oh yeah, I mean it's crazy. I don't like messing around with 49er running backs. There's probably like 6 on the team we just don't even know about.
Oh yeah. There's one I might pick up that's not even on the list, but I'm sure Sleeper will outbid me by $1 somehow. So
I'll tell you one injury that was kind of another surprise and kind of undisclosed was the Najee Harris injury, the foot injury. Was it Liz Frank or?
Yep.
Like, yeah, I will be. If I was a Najee Harris owner, I would be also sweating bullets for that one. I mean, what's the backup? Waylon?
Waylon Jennings, Murphy, something. I don't know.
I like Waylon Jennings. Waylon Jennings is the backup. Awesome dude. Great song. I love the song music. But yeah, no, Najee Harris. I did not know that was like an issue. And then after the draft, it kind of broke. And now he seems to be gimping along right now.
Do you want to know how bad we are on Waylon Jennings' actual name?
How bad?
Jalen Warren.
I mean, we were so close. I mean, how whatever.
The dude, by the way, he ran 3 times. He got 7 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
Why are we supposed to run out and get this guy? I get it. It's like you always got to get the next James Conner or whatever, but like that well might be drying up in Pittsburgh, man.
I mean, you got Mitch's quarterback. I don't know. They might be missing. They won, but right.
I'm working on it. That was just amazing. I have the score right here. I'm going to break it down for you. So you're absolutely, with your astute football knowledge there, King. They won 23-20.
Blowout.
Don't do that, dude. Give me a little hand signal. How much did they score by? Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was an overtime win, as we both were talking about before the show, and TJ Watt left with a pec injury, so more problems for the Steelers.
I know
Joe
that
Burrow
feeling.
had a rough first half, man.
Whew.
Cole had Joe Burrow, and he's just sitting next to me, and he's like, Joe Burrow's negative, Joe Burrow's positive. Oh, Joe Burrow's negative again. I think he had like 2 picks and a fumble or something like that. I mean, he had a rough start, and he ended up having a decent game.
Oh man, yeah, that is rough.
4 picks. He had 4 picks. Holy cow!
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Sorry, folks. This is like the way the pros work. You know, we're spitballing here. This is why Nate Gates not been on the show for a while, because the King can't get through a show when I'm spazzing out. But holy cow, that was a bad game. So,
well,
please,
I mean,
please take the reins and get us back on track, King, because I'm out in left field.
Well, I'll just mention this: like Oracle had a Joe Burrow has Joe Burrow in our league, and if Joe Burrow played anywhere close to being average, he would have Oracle might have won points for the week. But sorry, Oracle. But yeah, like, were there any other like surprises for you for like week 1? I know for me, I'm gonna just mention Saquon Barkley. The resurgence of Saquon just blew my mind. I did not think that was gonna happen. First and Goal is a genius for picking him up in the second round right now.
Yep.
Were there any other things that popped off to you?
I would say 2 things. I would say stud wide receivers and stud quarterbacks. And you say, well, obviously they did good, but stud running backs did not, right? And old Grizz stuck his neck out and went and got Allen, and he got paid off for it. And I was sure that was going to be the winning score of the week with 40 points. I mean, that's money in the bag, best quarterback of the week. And then Mahomes goes out and, like, hold my beer, dude. Like, he just killed it. 50 points for the drill. I mean, I thought I can't remember how much he had to reach to get Mahomes. He waited till the 4th round, so it wasn't like he even had to go that far to get him. Man, I just that kind of blew me away how well those 2 quarterbacks did. And then, man, I mean, Kupp, Jefferson, Chase, kinda, Devontae Adams, killed it. Diggs. So you had to, and Pittman was fine. I can't remember how many points he got, but he was fine. So I mean, I skipped CD. He was right in the middle there for you and me, you in our main league, and me in my other league. Pittman, 25 points. I mean, the first 2 rounds, almost every wide receiver paid back big time. And I don't know. I mean, that happens, but normally you have more. Tyreek Hill is the other one that was disappointment. I mean, and that's 16 points. I mean, you're going to take that, but just killer weeks from these wide receivers. So fun to watch. I grabbed some running backs. I was slightly less happy. So that's my surprises for the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's first week. I mean, things will settle back down and get more normal, hopefully. And some of this stuff, I don't know if it's going to be a status quo for the whole season. We were talking about Mike Williams. Mike Williams had a terrible game, but maybe he'll bounce. I think he'll bounce back week 2. He has to. If he doesn't, then he's on the trading block as we speak.
I'll go ahead and tell you to see. We don't. You've got CD, but if I had CD, he'd be on the trade block, man. I'm a little worried.
I'm not saying he is, and I'm not saying he isn't, but I mean, if I see some offers coming my way for CD Lamb, this is the time. And
yeah, I just getting hit in the hands like that. I'm like, come on, man. I think he'll come around, but
yeah,
I'm freaking out as a fellow CD Lamb owner with you. So.
Well, let's just kind of do a brief recap of the games, the league games this past week. Some winners, some losers. I know I was a loser, unfortunately. Gatos got one over me by whopping 6 points. 132 to 126. Blew my mind.
I'll tell you who he didn't do it with. Tom Brady, man. They look rough.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I'm Gatos, like, he better be praising that 132 because that might be his high points for the season.
Yeah, man. I tried to give him a good quarterback before the season started. He didn't want to do the deal, but he's struggling, man.
Hard times. Then let's hit up a little drill and tuna. I mean, drill blew this one out of the water, 150 to 91. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more surprised at like how many misses Tuna had, right? So Rodgers, I mean, we're picking on Tom Brady, but holy cow, I'm sure Tuna would be glad to have Tom Brady's 10 or 15 points over the 4 points from Rodgers. DJ Moore, I mean, I hope Baker realizes who his best wide receiver is as a Panthers fan, because like I only saw a few catches for DJ Moore. That was frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, Drill had Mahomes, and then Justin Jefferson and Diggs. I don't know what else to say.
That was game right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see, old Sleeper and Whoza here. That was a low score. Gosh, Whoza loves low scoring matchups. Let me tell you, 109 to 96. Man, Sleeper, if you could have just put up like anything more respectable than you would have beaten Whoza. But
Sleeper's making sure we talk about all the injuries here. So T. Higgins and Godwin both went down. So with starting wide receivers, the Reaper got him. Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only thing that kept him in the race, a very low-scoring race, was Kareem Hunt, who was getting all the action for Cleveland against the Panthers. I don't know any players on Huza's team that jumped out to you.
Not really. They were all very. Let me take a look real quick.
Well, I'll break it down for you. So you got Lamar Jackson, his high scorer. He got close to 28 points. He did what you expect Lamar Jackson to do. But, I mean, next highest is Joe Mixon, and that was at almost 20 points. I think Jamal Williams was the surprise of this team, if you're going to pick a highlight, because I don't know that I expected him to get more than 10 or 12 points.
Well, that's actually you're talking about like Javonte Williams.
Oh, Javonte. Thank you, Javonte. So another disappointment. I'm sure he was hoping to get more than 16 out of Javonte.
Yeah, I mean, well, his strength was his running backs. You know, you got you said 17 and 15 points out of both his running backs, but that wasn't spectacular numbers. Lamar put up good numbers, but I know you said like that's what you expect out of Lamar. I don't know if I really do, because I feel like Lamar, losing Hollywood Brown, was kind of surprised a little bit that he found like some new receivers other than Mark Andrews to go to.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Bateman, dude, huge.
Yeah, Bateman and that Devernay or Dever or something.
so hot at pronouncing stuff.
You know who I'm talking about, man, because he showed up on the waiver wire. You're like, Devin Duvernay. I was right on. I nailed it. 22 points.
Nailed it.
By the way, Jamal Williams was over on Sleeper's bench.
He actually had a good game. Too,
he outscored Javonte Williams.
Who's wishes he had Jamal Williams? He's got
Devontae
instead. Moron.
Good grief, man.
Let's talk a little bit about Grizz. Or no, Oracle and Goal here.
This was a great game.
Yeah, high scoring affair.
I'm going to go ahead and call game of the week from last week since we didn't get to call it. I didn't listen to your whole show. Did you call it?
No, I didn't get a chance.
You totally call it later. Yeah. Game of the week right here.
Game of the week. I agree. Like, that was a high scoring affair. Like I was saying earlier, if Joe Burrow did anything,
he would have called him.
Well, I mean, Burrow still put up 20 points, but I'm thinking if he put up, gave him like around 30.
Yeah.
And
that would have done it. 32 would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, he had a pretty bad game. Those 4 interceptions really killed him.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfrow didn't do Oracle any favors. Oracle, call me about a trade. I'll give you an amazing receiver. For nothing.
Wait, you want Renfrow?
No, I don't want that receiver. I'll give him a better receiver.
Nice. I was gonna say, man, if you know something about Renfrow that I don't know, I'm about to cut him in another league. So, yeah.
But Goal had a solid team. I mean, he had the Russell Muscle Wilson. He had Devontae Adams, Saquon. Hollywood Brown put up some points, but then Pittsburgh D just exploded too for him. I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Great game there. And then let's see, some Grizz LTD. It wasn't a close matchup at all.
LTD got stuck with Dak, Zeke, Hawkinson. Your value tight end is not doing too good, King.
That's all right. That just means more points for Swift.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, he did all right. Yeah, man. I mean, King, man. Even Christian Kirk gets some 16 points. So, I mean, good on him, man. I think the only disappointment beside Dawson Knox, I feel like we've already talked about that, was Josh Jacobs. I know he wanted more than 8 points out of him, but pretty good showing all around.
That's right. Yeah, not too bad. Grizz is in the hunt. I mean, nothing's like totally dropped off or anything. There's some guys that are on the cusp, like LTD and Tuna and Sleeper, that need to have big second weeks to like stay in the hunt for the playoff or for the points race.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So last game, I got to tell you, I had no idea I was playing Magic Mike when I was talking all that trash about Cam Akers. And then out of the blue, he said something. I was like, "Oh crap, we're playing each other." That was kind of funny. Not for him. I would not want to start Akers. Holy cow! But I mean, Travis Kelce. So that was helpful. Hurts didn't hurt me, and everybody else kind of just man their way to about 15 points. That was enough to win me a week, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, Magic's not doing great, or I'm not really thrilled with Magic's team. So beating him while he's down is a good job. Excellent job.
Yeah. Mate. I do think he'll be all right in some ways. Like Debo's got to do better when he's not playing a monsoon. He's going to learn the lesson that took me 3 weeks to learn, that you got to start Cordell Patterson. And after that, he's got to find some points. But at least he'll be good with those two things.
Well, let's Tom, I think just speed things up. Let's jump into week 2 matchups and call some picks out. How's that?
Let's do it. Who
All
we got on
right.
the agenda?
Week 2, King versus Sleeper.
Woo!
I know. And this, I actually got myself winning this. I feel very confident playing a guy that couldn't break 100 points week 1. So I like that pick.
I like that pick, especially going up against that many injured players. I know Sleeper likes to play on the waiver wires. He does have Tyler Boyd, so at least he's got that going. But yeah, I like you too, King. Think you're going to take this one home.
Nice. Thank you. Next one, drill and goal. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is, at least for me, my game of the week. Last week, these were the 2 highest scores. Goal beat drill out by 1 point for high points for the week. I think it might be time for some revenge, but I think goal's going to say, no way, you shall not pass. And beat good old drill here back to Concord.
That's right. Yeah, I like it's hard to pick against Mahomes with the Chargers. I'm gonna go against you on this one. I just think Drill's got too much firepower to beat Goal.
No problem. I mean, I'm hoping it wouldn't disappoint me if Goal loses here, because that means he probably would win another week. We don't need Goal to be on a gravy train with biscuit wheels now. All right, let's see. We got who's LTD. Another low. Neither one put up big points week 1. I'm going with who's on this. I don't know if LTD has enough firepower left in the tank.
No way, man. I'm LTD all the way.
The dream, baby.
There's no way I'm thinking, LTD's got this. He's going to rally.
I feel like you called that just so you can send you some Whisper Creek.
I cannot confirm or deny that I would turn down some Whisper Creek for picking my guy, LTD.
All right. Gatos Oracle. And I'll tell you what, like, Oracle's team, man, very explosive. I got Oracle beating old Gatos out. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Gatos is past his prime. He's got a terrible quarterback whose wife's mad at him.
Yeah.
That was AJ Brown's one good week. It's going to be all, what's his name? Smith. Devonta Smith next week.
That's right.
Yeah. Gatos, you should have traded me when you had a chance. Oracle's going to take him down.
I like that. We got next game is Tuna versus Nate Gate.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, there's no way that Nate Gate does not come out on top. I'm sorry. He's too dominant, too much of a force.
Well, I mean, the other thing is like, I'm slightly scared. I don't understand where all these points are coming from. Like, I'm up by like 18 here, and they're giving Rodgers 28 points. So he might get 28 points. This is normally when he comes out angry after he blows week 1. So he might get those 28 points. But yeah, I'm not seeing it on the rest of the team. So I'm also picking myself.
Only if he can like throw and catch it himself.
He probably thought about it after that Watson drop. He's like, I should have thrown it to myself.
Oh, most definitely. Now we got old Magic Man versus the Grizz, and again another team on the upward swing, another on the downward. I'm taking old Grizz here.
Yeah. I mean, I could see a path for a Magic victory, but it's very windy. It involves Cordell Patterson being really good, which probably will happen, but I'm going to go with my gut and pick Grizz here. I think he's got enough points on the board that it's not happening. I mean, that freaking Josh Allen and Pittman, man, that's going to do it. And then Jonathan Taylor was literally, we haven't even talked about him, but he just showed up and kicked butt as a running back. So, I mean, go figure.
I mean, that's what I was saying after the draft. I mean, Grizz went with 3 top players in their respective positions, and I can see all 3 of those guys be top 5 easily. Some of them higher, maybe top 2.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And Grizz has just got to find another guy, 4th guy, and he might win this whole thing, but we'll see. So yeah, no, looking forward to this week and seeing who's right and who's wrong on that one. But we're gonna jump into a new segment. It's some NFL talk with our special guest. Looking forward to hearing what our expert has to say.
Nice.
Welcome to Grizz Talk, people. We're here live with Grizz himself with some hot NFL talk coming up at you.
Big week.
Grizz, glad to have you on the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to getting into this. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Week 1 was great for my team and the Bears and my fantasy. Both teams did well for me. So, and the Packers lost. So I'm as happy as can be.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, we're going to start talking a little bit about like some of the games this week 1, and then we're going to also chat a little bit about take a look at the games week 2 and break those down. How's that sound, Grizz?
Yeah. We want to start off with last night's game?
Yeah, last night's game, that was a very interesting game. We had Seattle versus Broncos. I mean, talk about a little bit of a revenge game, I guess both ways, with Russell leaving and Russell coming back to Seattle. It was a very interesting, it had a little storyline drama, don't you think?
It's very dramatic. And in the odd sense, I didn't think Seattle was going to score 3 points. I mean, that game should have been over. And honestly, I thought that was, and I'm not putting this on Russell Wilson. I'm just talking about, you have to think about Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Like, how good is he? Because that coach seemed to be completely lost. I mean, you're talking about awful clock management, penalties, decision-making, turnovers. I mean, they looked like they didn't play anybody in preseason, particularly Russell Wilson. But I was just like, this is what you got to look forward to. Congratulations, new Broncos ownership.
Yeah, really. That was, after last night, you really have to question their decision bringing that coach in, sitting in the driver's seat. That's for sure. I don't know if you noticed, but last night, towards the end of the game, Peyton Manning on his little screen side comment thing, he was just sitting there saying timeout the whole time.
Honestly, they had 4 minutes to go, and I think they had the ball at 20 or 25. They went basically 25 yards or 30 yards in 4 minutes. But the last minute was abysmal. I could not believe when it was 4th and 5. I mean, that kicker is amazing. You can't put it on him. I mean, that was a long field goal, and it still had the length. But I mean, you got to go for it in 4th and 5 there. I mean, they got that one completion and got out of bounds. They had the timeouts. If they just got 7 or 8 more yards, they probably would have won the game.
Well, I mean, they spent 30 seconds to call a timeout. I was like, what are y'all doing? And I know that's on the coach. I mean, it's definitely on the coach, but also I got to mention, Russell Wilson's a veteran. He's been out there. He's been doing this. I mean, you paid him $200 million to kind of bumble it there at the end. Also, I mean, he's supposed to be your coach on the field.
He kind of seemed very He didn't show any emotion. Just I don't know, like he just wanted to get out of there, and I'm that's a hard thing to be into. But Russell Wilson's got a very controversial career, and it goes back to college. I mean, he dumped state, went to Wisconsin, and I don't know if you noticed before the game started, Seattle was just straight up booing him. And I was just like, Seattle won that trade and got a lot of compensation. And I don't think Russell Wilson was particularly, really trying to get out of there. It was just one of the situations. Seattle showed no class last night, in my opinion, also. But, Russell is, he's had some strange games, particularly the Super Bowl where he threw that pick. And, I like Russell Wilson, but I think at this point in his career, after watching last night's game, I don't think things are going to go particularly well the next few years there.
Well, let me ask you this: let's say career ends today, walks away from the game. Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback in your mind?
I mean, he's won one. I kind of put him up there with like the Donovan McNabb kind of quarterbacks, and there's too many quarterbacks I think in the Hall of Fame, but recognized. I mean, there's like every, generation of quarterbacks, there's a handful that go in. And, is he at that level? He's near it. And there's a lot of players in the Hall of Fame I don't agree with being in the Hall of Fame, like such somebody as like Terrell Davis, for example. He's good for a few years, but he didn't have a long career. And I think he played in a stellar offense. And I know it's just like he's a bubble player, but you can't put him anywhere near like the Elways and Marinos and the Montanas. He couldn't hold. He's just not that caliber player.
No, I understand and I agree. I don't think he's a first. I definitely don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but maybe somewhere in his career down the line he might be able to sneak in there.
He's going to need to get another one. Look at Eli Manning. He's got 2 rings, but he's not the athlete. But he played a long time. It's just kind of hard. I mean, I wouldn't even say at any point in his career I would consider Wilson a top 5 quarterback in the league ever. Yeah. I mean, look at the quarterbacks you got in the league right now. He's not even sniffing top 3. He's got a huge contract.
No, you're right. I think that's gonna be a tough get to get him into the Hall, but we'll see what happens there. Before we jump into this coming week's games, I actually was going to bring up one other topic I know we didn't touch on before our pre-pod meeting, but I was going to ask about like the Cowboys, with Dak being out, Tyron Smith out, like how much trouble do you think the Cowboys are in right now?
I think they're legitimately. I think Mike McCarthy, like you go back to the Aaron Rodgers kind of dilemma. I never liked him much as a coach, and I think going to Dallas is just a Hollywood move. I think Dallas. I do think he will come back. The question is when. And I think by the time he does come back, the season's already over. They have some issues all over the field. I think they're going to have to let Elliott go at some point. And this is his last year in Dallas. I can promise. If Elliott is there next year with Dallas, I'd be shocked. But to get straight to the point, I see Dallas winning like 6-7 games this year at most.
Yeah, I did see one article, and it was clickbait, I'm sure, but there was talk. They mentioned Dallas trading for Jimmy G. Like, do you think bringing Jimmy G into Dallas would now? I think it would help, but like, do you think it would save them?
Well, that's what Jerry likes to do. It's Jerry's world. He is going to do anything to get the headlines, and he's not scared to spend money. But as a Dallas Cowboys. If I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'd be scared to death right now because he's going to do. If they trade for Jimmy, you have to know they're going to be highly compensated. Mm-hmm. It's going to be at least a second, a third, and probably multiple picks in something else. So, they could get him, and I highly doubt that Jimmy's going to be the quarterback there. He'll be with San Francisco, but I would keep him because I know Fields has got his issues. I watched the things with the Bears, but you and I have talked about it. We said it from day one. That is like a Ryan Leaf, Mitchell Trubisky pick. They way overdrafted him. The guy can't set his feet. He's just basically a wide receiver, a small school quarterback. I thought that was one of the worst draft picks ever, and I never understood why anybody backed that pick up.
Yeah, we're talking about Trey Lance here. He is that was a sketchy pick. I think we both saw that. I thought like when the 49ers made a move, I thought they were going to go with Mac Jones, who was to me a more polished, ready quarterback than Trey Lance. Trey Lance was certainly a project.
Yeah, that was this. I mean, there's a lot of teams in big time trouble. The Steelers are in huge trouble. I mean, I think losing. I mean, nobody's really talking about that because I mean, Harris has got a fracture in his foot, and he's playing. He's going to be uncomfortable all year long. And but people aren't talking about T.J. Watt being out for the year. I mean, he's like basically the MVP of the league, and I'm like, people are kind of hush hush about that. Like that's huge.
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to dramatically hit the Steelers' defense. I mean, and they had a good defense, and they probably still will have a solid one, but losing arguably the best pass rusher in the whole league, that's tough to overcome.
Yeah, I think that's going to set them back 2 or 3 games.
Well, let's just jump into week 2. Why not? And try to touch on each of these games. And let's start off with the Thursday night game, which sounds like it should be like a Super Bowl game.
It's at Arrowhead Stadium. I mean, again, we talked about the unbelievable importance and value of the AFC West this year. You got the Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs, and this is get ready, get the kids in bed, and turn up the volume because this is going to be highly entertaining. You got the 2 possibly best players in the league going head to head. And these teams are good. They don't really have any issues anywhere. You could arguably say that the Chiefs don't have great wide receivers, but they scored 5 touchdowns last night or 2 days ago. So I did see that Mahomes has got a broken thumb on his non-throwing hand, and I wonder if that'll be an issue eventually.
Maybe if he gets hit on again, he might need to be forced to have surgery. You never know.
But snap the ball. I mean, that's
yeah.
The center to quarterback exchange. A lot of I saw Matt Ryan fumble about 10 snaps this weekend, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's more Matt Ryan than any injury. But no, and Mahomes we trust, man. I think it's going to be a shootout. High scoring affair. I'm looking forward to it. And as you say, I was worried Mahomes was going to take a step back this season, but it doesn't. I think this first game shows how great he really is. I mean, making nothing out of it.
I really don't know even. I mean, this game's up for grabs, and we don't have the Vegas odds as of yet. I don't know it, but I would have to say it'd probably be Kansas City 3.5 if I was to guess. And I would lean towards the Chiefs on this one since it's at Arrowhead. Keenan Allen's out for the Chargers. I do think that hurts a little bit. That's a security valve for Justin Herbert. But I would take the Chiefs in this game. How do you think? Who do you like in that one?
It's at Arrowhead. I'm going to go Chiefs then. I hate to say, I think Mahomes is. I mean, home field advantage. I think that's going to be enough to be the what decides this victory.
And you talk about players you like a lot in that game. I wouldn't be surprised to see this not be a high scoring game, but highly entertaining. This could be a 21-24 type of affair. Wouldn't shock me. This is a conference game. So in terms of players that I like, I was kind of watching. Who's the backup running back for Kansas City? Pacheco or something weird.
Yeah, Pacheco or something. Yeah.
I really want to see what this guy can do. I hope they open up things a little bit more for him. I know Hilaire played pretty good last week, and I want to see some other wide receivers on Kansas City possibly have a big game. And same thing with the Chargers. I mean, Mike Williams had 2 catches. Keenan Allen is out, and Herbert's an excellent quarterback. So I want to see some big plays now that Tyreek's not here. I think both quarterbacks will play very well, but I just don't see huge nights. I don't think Mahomes is going to have a 5 touchdown night again.
Well, we will definitely see. Let's jump into Patriots Steelers if that's all right with you.
Okay.
That's going to be that's not going to be as an exciting game. But Yeah, it'll be honestly. I'm more wondering how the Steelers react with Najee Harris's injury, T.J. Watt's injury. See how they bounce back.
And Matt Jones supposedly had some issues with his back.
Mm-hmm.
People are really putting down the Patriots right now. You've probably seen some of the headliners. I'm not buying into that just yet. I feel like Bill is always, even they had like Matt Castle back in the day and last year, the Patriots were a decent team last year. I'm not ready to write them off yet. I tell you what, the Steelers got really lucky last week. I was there watching the game and I was in disbelief. Like, that was awful. I mean, they even missed a field goal towards the end. There was 3 missed field goals. I think 2 in overtime. This blew my mind. So if I had to pick a team in that matchup, it's at Pittsburgh. Um, you know, that is a really, really hard one because if Harris plays, if he's kind of ginger, I don't really know how to go with that one. Who do you take?
I'm taking Patriots on this. I think they bounce back. I think Steelers are kind of reeling, and I think Mitch is not. When has Mitch ever been a consistent quarterback?
And I'll say this, like, you talk about Hall of Fame people. I've heard Tomlin's name being thrown around there. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, he is no Bill Belichick. And I think if you look at the history of these two teams playing each other, Belichick has just beat Tomlin senseless, if I can remember.
Yeah.
But I don't see Belichick, blowing this game with Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. I could see the Steelers possibly winning by him like you. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Patriots here.
Gotcha. Well, are there any players that you're looking forward to seeing in that game?
Like I said, who was there to get excited about that game? I mean, Najee Harris is a stud. But he's kind of banged up. And honestly, the thing I was reading about, there's a Steelers running back I've never heard of before, free agent rookie wide or running back, and he's the backup to Harris. So, might provide some kind of entertainment, but I don't. And that's at 1:00 on Sunday. Unless you're a fan, I don't think anybody's watching that game.
Nah, not at all. Well, let's speaking of fans, let's talk about some Panthers Giants. What do you think about my Panthers going against the G-Men? How do you think that's going to turn out?
I didn't realize they were playing each other, but the Giants pulled one off last week, and I tell you what, Mr. Curley, he's got some tricks up his sleeves. Because okay, hear me out. I don't think Saquon Barkley has played that well since his rookie year.
Yeah, I agree.
What was going on?
I don't know.
He looked amazing.
I had written Saquon off for the year. I was like, dude, he's not going to bounce back. I thought he would be done. Running back, too many injuries, it just seemed, just another year older, that sort of deal. But he played like he was a rookie, that's for sure.
I love that he made that little catch and sprinting down the sideline. And I thought he went 50 or 60 yards, but he was showing some pop and some juice in that game. And I was happy to see that because I like Saquon. I think he's an awesome guy. He's a beast of an athlete. He's just one of those guys who just couldn't stay healthy. And the same thing with McCaffrey. You got 2 elite fantasy type players in that game, and it's going to be whoever plays. I think there's going to be 2 or 3 really, really big plays in that game. But I'm going with the Panthers in that game. I still do not trust the Giants.
The Giants actually put a competent game plan out there. I don't know if I've seen that from the Panthers yet, even if it's just been 1 week. I don't know what they were doing last week. They kind of abandoned the run a little bit against the Browns. I don't know. And
the Browns have got a pretty beast D line, so I think it takes 2 or 3 weeks to kind of size teams up, and that's an entertaining game in the sense that should be a close ball game. I don't see that being high scoring either, unless Barkley or McCaffrey is for a few 80-yarders or something.
I agree, but I think I might be going G-Men on that just because I'm not sure I fully trust Barkley. Not Barkley, but Baker Mayfield, excuse me. I'm not sure if I really trust Baker Mayfield out there at the quarterback position for the Panthers yet.
I didn't watch the whole game. I saw bits and pieces, but I could say the same thing about Matt Jones. So, I mean, to me, that's kind of like one of those less than stellar games that we're talking about. I mean, I see both the Giants and the Panthers being at probably the 15 and below. They're definitely not in the better half of the league.
Well, let's talk about not stellar games and let's jump into some Jets and Browns.
Well, we're getting up. There were some big games here, Coop.
Hey, I didn't make this schedule.
Oh my gosh, that's just. I mean, honestly, you'd have to pay me to watch that ball game. I think I'd rather watch the WNBA. I mean, come on, man. You got Flacco versus Brisket. Now, the Browns and the Jets have some newly acquired talent. It looks nice, but Flacco, jeez. And, I mean, the whole Watson dilemma. I mean, I tell you what, though, I was talking to my brother about this. Kadeem Hunt and Chubb, it's like we've seen this for years. I would not want to tackle those two dudes. Chubb had 6 yards a carry last week, and I saw a stat. He set an NFL record. Basically, the first 5 years of his career, he's the only running back, and basically his average over 5 yards a carry. And you think about that, that is really hard to do. And the thing is, Hunt scored twice, so he just kind of picks up the pieces here and there for Chubb. Those two are just they're men.
Yeah,
it's like they're both of them are kind of like reincarnations of Jim Brown.
No, the Browns running game right now is super strong. You mentioned their D-line. Myles Garrett looked like an animal of some sort last week. Browns, I mean, if they could just whatever they figure out with their quarterback position, if they can improve that, they're actually not a bad team.
Oh, they're good. I think the Browns could win that game by 20 by running the ball every play.
I didn't even know the Jets played last week. That's how bad they were. But yeah, I got Browns winning this. Big.
I'll take Browns by 7.
Browns by 7? Sounds good to me. Let's jump another stellar game. Gosh, they really lined them up this week. Colts and Jaguars.
I think that's a pretty neat game. I mean, Matt Ryan, again, I thought was hot and cold. I swear, I think he fumbled 3 snaps in that game. And he made a few nice plays. I mean, John Taylor just, I had him in the first pick this year, and he just, I was really kind of watching him from the side screen, and he's got some pop. He's just a different player. He is really quick. And the Jaguars look like they were going to make a play at the Washington Redskins, and they're a young team, and they're playing on the road. I thought Jacksonville was going to win that game. There's a lot of things going on in that game. I want to see the Colts find a second receiver, and I want to see the Jaguars get a little bit more consistency. And I was a little bit shocked by Robinson showing up and basically taking NTN after he took him out of the game plan almost.
Oh yeah, I mean Robinson's not giving that position up. He's saying he's the number 1 running back, and he had a great game last week. One player though, I can't think of his name, but like the defensive player for the Jaguars
the rookie Walker from Georgia.
Yeah,
you're talking about stud. Wow, that pick he had against Wentz, he's reached out there and snagged it. Oh, that was a pretty aha moment. That was amazing.
I mean, I don't think people realize he's 6'5", 275. I mean, that's huge.
And he moves well.
Oh, he's a freak athlete, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see if he can keep that up.
That's a game. I just don't like the Colts. I mean, in terms of, they're kind of one of those teams I'm on the fence about until they show me a little something. I wonder if Matt Ryan's washed up. Then you look at the opposite side, the Jaguars are up and coming, but when's that going to happen? I mean, the Colts almost lost to the Texans, who I think are abysmal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're probably the worst team in the league. I'm going to take the Jaguars in this game because I think they gave the Skins a run for their money, and the Skins aren't an awful team. They're not great, but I think it's at Jacksonville also. So I'll stick with the Jags.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Jaguars in this one. Colts didn't impress me week one, and not as much as I thought they would. And like you say, I mean, Jags are up and coming. This could be the year they make to make a slight run.
Oh yeah, I mean, this could be if they win 8 games, that's their year because they got to
Yeah.
get. And they've been bad for a while.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Dolphins Ravens, another 1 o'clock game.
Ooh, that's actually pretty interesting.
You got some offensive firepower with the Dolphins potentially with Hill and Waddle, and then you got Lamar Jackson, who's a human highlight reel. So a lot of cool pieces in this game.
I could see that game just getting weird on either side. That's not a balanced. I don't think they play each other very often. The Dolphins are in a warmer climate. The Ravens are just one of those old school teams, and the Dolphins are kind of up and coming. People don't trust Tua. Jackson just turned down that huge contract. They got some weird running back situations. An awful, I think, receiving core. Bateman pretty good. He had a long touchdown last week. I just don't know what to think of that game. But I mean, I think John Harbaugh is probably one of the best coaches in the league. And until somebody like the Dolphins knocks them off the pedestal, I'll stick with the Ravens. It is in Baltimore also.
No, I'll agree. I'm going for a little bit more of a veteran team in the Ravens, team that's been together, I think, a little bit longer. So, do you know anything about J.K. Dobbins when he's going to be coming back?
I mean, they got Kenyon Drake, I think, correct. And after the Raiders cut him, they got Mike Davis, they've got Gus Edwards, and Dobbins. So I think even if Dobbins does come back, I don't know where he was taken in our league. That's why I steered away from him. I think even if he does come back fully healthy for probably half the year, it's going to be a huge committee. And I don't see Dobbins getting more than 15 touches a game probably until midseason if he was to come back.
Gotcha. Well, let's jump into a divisional game and talk a little Bucks Saints.
I mean, Brady is. I watched him towards the end of the game, and I'll tell you what. I mean, they embarrassed the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys were just really bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is about the Bucks, their defense is amazing, and they just got so many blue chip prospects. They put so much pressure, and Jameis used to play there. It's in New Orleans, and the Saints Bucks have had some weird matchups in the past. I just can't see the Saints winning that game. I mean, the Cowboys scored 3 points. Yeah, Michael Thomas played good last week. I wonder what Olave is going to be. Kamara was a little slow last week. We know what he's capable of. We just don't know much about that organization right now, the Saints. I don't know what the new coach is going to do. We do know that Jameis Winston can make some big throws and he can win some big games, but he's also capable of doing just the opposite of that. And Brady is the most consistent. I mean, he's the GOAT. I'll take the Bucks by 7.
I'm going to actually disagree here and go with the Saints. Only because when I watch that Bucks offense, maybe it is first game, but they just seem a little flat to me. It didn't really seem to go. And the Saints offense, and like you say, Jameis it depends on what Jameis shows up.
I don't know what side you're going to get. The hot or cold.
Exactly. So, I mean, if he's out there throwing 4 picks, then obviously I'm wrong. But if he's out there slinging for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, I got the Saints in this. I like their offense a little bit better. They seem to have a little bit more pop to them overall than the Bucks. So I'm going to go with them.
Who is their head coach right now? Isn't it the guy from the Giants or something, some old defensive coordinator? And then he went over to the Saints and he was defensive coordinator, but I forget who it was, but it's definitely not a big name.
That is a good question. Dennis Allen?
But he was with the Giants, I think, as a coordinator. Then he went over to the Saints. But they hired him from within, didn't they, this past year?
Yeah, I think so. He was like a Raiders head coach for a little bit. I
Yeah, I
guess he
remember
might.
that. I do remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I wonder what their old head coach is up to right now. Honestly, that's one of those guys. I mean, he's going to have to be getting a call, and I could bet you $1,000,000 that's going to be the Cowboys' next head coach.
he's probably waiting for Jerry to come to his senses. um, let's move along and let's talk a little Commanders versus Lions. Another sexy matchup.
What an
Sarcasm.
awful word. Still not over that. Being in DC, I mean, I know it is what it is, but I'll tell you what. I'm not on this. I know people love Hard Knocks, and people are sitting there at the bars and the restaurants talking about the lines. I'm like, I can't believe that I heard the word lines out in public. That's because of Hard Knocks, and
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest moment in their life, right there. And I still think the Lions are complete garbage. I think Dan Campbell is just eating too many steroids on the sidelines, and I mean, they made a play at the Eagles. I do think the Eagles are a good team, and people keep on saying things like the Lions are going to make that jump. It is at Detroit. Um, I think that the Skins honestly have a very well put together roster, and losing Robinson, I think, really hurt them to that gunshot. And I'm hoping he comes back to a full recovery and can play. But I still, without him and the Commanders winning last week, uh, this could be a weird game. Things get a little funky, but I'm looking forward to Dotson looked amazing last week. I mean, Wentz had touchdowns to Samuel McLaurin and then in Dotson, and you wonder like can he keep this up? Gibson looked okay last week, and the Lions. I mean, they had 3 running back touchdowns last week, which is, I mean, I just don't trust Goff. I just don't like the guy. I can't believe they went into the season with him at quarterback again.
No, I agree. I think if the Lions had like a slightly better quarterback, they would actually be a pretty dangerous team. Golf just doesn't do it for me, or doesn't do it for anyone, actually. Let's be honest. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to pick the Lions. I think I'm going to go with the Commanders on this, and yeah. Hopefully, though, the Lions
I'll take the Commanders by a field goal.
Sounds good to me. Let's jump into the 49ers Seahawks.
Oh God, these games are terrible. All the teams bad.
I mean, somehow all the bad teams are playing each other. This will be a kind of an interesting game, not because it's like, looking forward to seeing it, but I want to see how Trey Lance does, how he bounces back. If he's got if he doesn't play well in this, I think it's going to be a long season for the 49ers. And also, I'm kind of curious about the Seahawks' Geno Smith. I mean, he's not been good his whole career, but he had a solid game last night.
I think they put a lot of game planning in. I mean, they got people's attention. It's at the 49ers house. So, I mean, like we were talking about this earlier, it's hard to judge a team, especially for week 1, first week, and there's so much stuff going into the game planning. You've been preseason for so long, and then you watch the game in Chicago. That rain was just unbelievable, and I'm giving both Trey Lance and Justin Fields a pass in that game because they were honestly both pretty bad for the most case, and I want to see what Lance can do. But I was watching his throw mechanics. He's an amazing athlete, but his best assets, his running ability, he can throw deep, but he doesn't read. He didn't go through progressions. I'm just not impressed with him. And Gino's been around a long time, but the 49ers do have a better roster. But they also lost Elijah Mitchell, who I thought was a pretty good tailback. So there's a lot of question marks in that game. And, Seahawks won, and Lance has been playing funky. They lost Elijah. Honestly, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'll take the Seahawks in that game.
I agree. I think they're going to be rolling on this one. I don't think it's going to be like blowing the 49ers out, but I think they will win. and actually have a winning streak, to say the least.
Crazy. The Seahawks 2-0.
That's right.
Who would have thought?
That's right. Well, we got about 5 minutes left. Let's just kind of run through these last few games and just kind of touch on each one. How's that?
Let's do it.
All right. We got Falcons Rams. I do not see this being close at all.
It's a blowout. I'll take the Rams by 14. I think they're going to be angry, and it is it's in LA. I think Allen Robinson's going to get back here, and I just think that's just going to be an ugly game.
I agree. I'll take the Rams as well. Let's take a look at the Cardinals Raiders.
Cardinals are awful.
Yeah, Cardinals did not look good at all.
I'll take the Raiders in that one until the cards show me more. I think the Cardinals are in big trouble after this year. I think that's going to be a field day for Adams there, and I will take the Raiders by 7.
Yeah, Kyler Murray needs to spend more time in the film room, that's for sure. I'm taking the Raiders as well. I agree. Let's take a look at the Texans Broncos. I think this is a good game for the Broncos to bounce back on.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans played a good game. They got very lucky. I think the Broncos are better than the Colts, and I think the Broncos are going to be – I mean, I felt like we watched them last night. That was their preseason game. They did not look ready, and I think they're going to – I mean, you hope that they get their act together a little bit. I think they get back on pace here, and they win by 7.
Oh, awesome. I'll take Broncos also. Bengals Cowboys.
That'll be a blowout too.
Yeah, I think Bengals bounce back big time. Cowboys are very wounded right now, especially on offense. I just don't see them keeping up with the Bengals.
And I will put a big fantasy prediction here if you want to make some money this week.
All right.
Chase has 3 touchdowns this week.
You heard it. You heard it here with the Grizz himself.
He's going to burn them alive.
Yeah. So yes, Bengals winning that one. We both agree. Now we got a interesting matchup here. We got your Bears versus the Packers.
It's a terrible game to be put in place as a Bears fan. It's at Lambeau. It's Sunday night. That is, and the Packers looked awful, and the Bears upset. The Bears are not very good. They won a game based on a few plays. I do like the Bears defense, but you just have to wonder if the Packers started off slow last year. You do not mess around with Aaron Rodgers. And as a rebound game at Lambeau on national TV, the Packers, I hate to say, the Bears win. It's a huge upset, but I think the Packers win convincingly by 7.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you again. I think it's going to be a rebound game for the Packers. I mean, unless it starts pouring rain, I don't know if the Bears. I think they'll have a chance, but I don't think they'll have enough to keep up with the Packers.
Packers are a very good organization right now. Their roster is very good, other than the receiving corps.
That's right. Well, let's talk briefly about the Titans-Bills Monday night game, early Monday night game.
That one kind of smells a little funky because you're wondering how good the Bills actually are, and I do think the Bills are that good. The Titans look like old underwear. I think Nancy just wore that team out or something. Maybe he's a fan of the Titans now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is in New York. I think there's gonna be a lot of tables broken that game. That is Monday night. So again, they opened up the season on national TV. They're going to play week 2 at home on national TV. That's going to be a blowout. I'll take the Bills by 14.
I agree. Bills, I believe, have this 2-minute warning. We got Eagles, Vikings last Monday night game.
That is actually a dynamic game. The NFC is not very good overall, but these are 2 teams in the NFC in terms of sexiness. They look pretty hot right now. I think that is going to be a fun game to watch. And I didn't realize we have a doubleheader on Monday night. Wow. I need to get 2 TVs up and rolling for that one at the same time.
Yeah.
Figure something out. It's Kirk Cousins versus Jalen Hurts. I mean, you got A.J. Brown versus Jefferson. You got 3 running backs for the Eagles who scored last week. You got Dalvin Cook. You got 2 good defenses. It's at Philadelphia too, and that is, the one stadium I would never want to go to. So see how the Vikings fans show up, because that is an awful place to go to as a fan.
Who you got?
Less
than a minute.
I'll take the Vikings by 3.
I'm going Eagles. Whew. Fly, Eagle, fly. Well, Grizz, I appreciate you coming on the pod, talk a little NFL with us, and we're going to have a little bit more Grizz talk later on in future pods.
Thanks for having me. It was a good time, and let's look forward to some good football here in 2 nights. Kansas City and the Chargers. Awesome.
Whew. Can't wait. Talk to you later.
Adios.
Welcome back. That was an amazing segment there with the Grizz. Insightful as always.
My mind's blown.
Yes. I mean, Vegas needs to come here for their odds, let me tell you.
That's right.
Well, that was great. I'm glad he was able to join us, and look forward to having more on the pod, talking a little bit more NFL versus fantasy, or instead of fantasy. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. No, that's a good breakdown. And let's see what happens this week. Anything else to add for the good of the pod?
Just remember, we're right and you're wrong. Thank you for joining us.